right, welcome to the premiere episode of Food and Drones. My name is Lito Reyes.
And I'm Roman Reyes.
And we are father and son. And we're here to talk about food and drones. Why food and drones? Roman?
Well, it first started off with trying to think of a name for a show, topic for a show. And I just thought, what do I like to do? I like eating, I like talking about food especially, and I love drones, everything about them.
We've been playing with drones for a few years now, and we've been eating for many years. We love food. We love to cook. We love to experiment with exotic foods and exotic dishes. And so we thought this would be an odd joining the two. But we thought it might be fun. We thought we'd give it a shot. Like I said, my name is Lito Reyes. I'm a former IT manager. I've been a former magazine editor for radio-controlled magazines. Did that for 18 years, and I've been playing with drones for a few years. Right now I'm an FAA certified drone pilot, commercial drone pilot. So that's our new business, and be happy to do the show.
And my name is Roman Reyes. I'm a senior in high school and his son. I'm blanking. I have a couple questions for you, Dad.
For me, okay.
Yes. What really got you started with drones?
Well, I've been fascinated with flying things ever since I was a little kid, and when I've been doing RC stuff since the 1990s. Eventually, that went into RC planes and helicopters, and eventually drones. The magazine I was working for got me my first drone with the intent of using it for filming cars and videos. Didn't work out very well. It was a first generation thing, and it just did not have the right quality. But I stuck with it, eventually doing different sizes, and culminating with now commercial drone piloting.
Now, first question done. What really is a drone?
What's a drone? Okay. Well, let me start off with the name drone. Historically, the name drone referred to an autonomous object that was programmed to just go do one thing and one thing only, with no intervention by anybody else, like bees, drone bees. Eventually, that term became used to describe military vehicles that were remotely operated for reconnaissance and eventually for strike missions. And then after that, kind of evolved to be called to any multi-rotor aircraft being called a drone, whether it's a four prop or 6 prop or 8 prop. They're all drones now. I used to have a problem with the word drone, but it's a lot easier to say than multicopter or quadcopter. So
Tricopter.
Yeah, or tricopter. So I've come to terms. I'm at peace with the term drone now for describing my hobby, what I like to do.
So let's start off with what drones we started with.
Oh yeah, okay. So we have a few samples of different drone sizes here, or different drone scales. This one would be a nano size drone. It's really tiny and flies around the house really well. That's why we started flying indoors with these and actually zooming them around the living room and trying not to annoy our family members too much with them. But yeah, it happened.
Then we ended up moving on to these. This is called the green props.
It's invisible.
Called the Tiny Whoop. It's just a small drone, very durable, very easy to crash, that has a little first-person view or FPV camera in it. So we are able to put goggles on like these and see from the drone itself, even this little tiny drone, and fly around the house, fly through different rooms, different floors, just doing what drones do. One
of the nice things about this one is that because it has guards for the props, we can bump them into walls, bump them into people, and really not damage either the drone or anything in the house. So yeah, Roman and I would actually fly them we would both be sitting in his room upstairs. We'd fly them down to the stairwell, into the living room, to the kitchen, back up in the room, and have a little race course throughout the house with those. So the next level up from that is a racing or freestyle drone. It's a lot bigger. It's kind of similar to what you see on the DRL racing on TV, although not quite as fancy. The main property of this style of drone is agility. It's made to go really fast and be able to take turns really quickly and change directions really quickly. And you see that it has 2 cameras on here. One is the lower one's for the first-person view, what we see through the goggles, and the upper one is an HD camera to record the session. Just because we like to keep logs of everything we do.
Mm-hmm.
So.
And then the last kind of drone that we use and that we played with is this big camera drone.
This is a commercial entry-level commercial camera drone made by 3DR called the Solo, and it has a high-def GoPro camera on it to capture footage.
Mm-hmm.
And the main thing it's used for is stable video, and we'll show the sample of that a little bit later. It feeds live video either to goggles or to our phone or other display that we can see. And they're made to go long distances, although it's illegal to fly outside of line of sight. They are made to go. They can go very far, and a lot of people do fly them that way.
Mm-hmm.
Not us though. Line of sight always.
Always.
Yes. Okay, so let's cue up some video of what it looks like to fly a racing drone.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go ahead and play that video. So this is Roman flying in New Mexico, and you can see that he's flying between trees, flying above and around and through obstacles. And this is the high definition footage that from the top camera, like I showed you on that example that we just showed a little bit, where what the drone actually sees itself, or what the drone sees, as if you were right on top of the drone. Now this isn't what we see though.
Mm-hmm. What we see is this.
Yes.
It's, as you can see, it's much lower quality. There's a lot of fuzz and visual artifacts or some sort of frequency things. And also there's a lot of lines and a lot of numbers and just moving parts. All of this is kind of just background. We don't really see we don't really pay attention to what that is and see.
Yeah. The main things we focus on when flying this way in first-person view is the very dead center, so we know where we're going, and really the bottom left corner in this case, where it shows the battery voltage, so we know when it is time to land. The rest of it is good information if we're going a little bit slower, and it's good to review that information when we look at the footage afterwards, so we know what we were doing. But for the most part, it goes too fast for us to pay attention to everything on screen at once. So we just focus on a couple things. Where we're going, and when we need to land, when it's safe to land. There is a question there. Are they hard to keep straight? It depends on what mode you're in. Some of them... Oh, let's not play this one yet. Let's go back to the camera. Thank you. We see a question here. Is it hard to keep straight? The drones can fly in a few different modes. One of them is called stability mode or angle mode, where it's pretty much self-hovers, and you tell it to go this way, and then it'll stop when you let it go of the controls. And it'll try to stay pretty much in the same place. It's easy to fly that way, but it's not very fast and not very efficient when you're trying to race that way, not when you're trying to go through obstacles. So there's another mode called... Acro
mode. Acro mode is where it's... Okay, he makes a very good analogy. It's like trying to keep a marble in the center while it's moving around. So you move the stick forward, and the drone goes forward. If you let go of the stick, it keeps going. You have to constantly be on the sticks on the radio and constantly be checking where you're going and basically just kind of balancing act.
Yeah, like the full analogy is like trying to balance a marble on a hand mirror, and you're constantly making corrections and constantly giving input to make sure it goes where you want it to go and keep it from going where you don't want it to go. And that's acrobatic mode. Acro mode, also known as acrobatic mode.
And the benefits of flying in this mode is making it go much, much faster. You have much more control over exactly where it's going, and you can do crazy tricks without the auto stabilization getting in the way of what you're doing.
Now bring back the little tiny whoop again here. So even this little tiny whoop, little tiny drone has both those modes in it, where you can be stability mode or angle mode, or full acro mode, where it can fly like you're on the edge all the time. That's the nice thing about all these drones, is that they're all programmable. You can hook it up to a PC and change all the settings, make it fly the way we want, tune it the way we want, like you would tune a race car for different suspension or different handling characteristics.
So Anna's asking another question: is there a drone with a gyro mode, like a gimbal that flies?
Yeah, in fact, the commercial drone is much like that, where it's made to be stable, and we'll show some video footage of that. Let's roll the video footage first, so you can see what it looks like. The difference between that one. Difference between the race drone and the cinematic or commercial drone. The main purpose of this kind of drone is to give really smooth footage, and like you would see in a movie, or like you would see in this case, a real estate video that I did. And it has gyros in the drone itself to keep it stable, and gyros in the gimbal where the camera's attached to keep the camera stable. And these are the kind of shots that you would previously only get from a helicopter or from a big crane, photo crane. But now we can do these just with our flying objects. So if we bring back the camera drone. Okay, so there is a gimbal down here which has stabilization on 3 axes: roll, pitch, and yaw. And then the drone itself has GPS built into it, which locks onto, we've seen up to 28 satellites to keep it stable in the air and not want to move. What's especially nice about this is the programmability. You want to talk about that, Roman? Yes,
this camera drone is not only fun, but it's also relatively easy to fly. You can have, or it has a little app on your phone that you connect to the drone and to the controller, and so you can look at the GPS, look at the map, and like place where you want to go to. You just fly where you want to go, hit a button to save it. Fly to the next spot, hit a button to save that, and fly to another, and hit the end button, and it'll automatically go through all of them just by itself, just from its programming.
Yeah, so you can set up automated camera shots that you can actually repeat 1 month or a year later, because it stores the GPS coordinates. You can go back to the same location and repeat those exact same shots with even the exact same camera positioning at any time. So, cool. Thanks for asking that question. Let's see, any other questions here? Okay, cool. All right. What else do we want to talk about for drones? Oh yeah, we wanted to talk a little bit about the goggles. So Roman mentioned that we could hook it up to our phone. We could also hook up that big cinematic one or the big commercial one to goggles as well. You could use it with 2 pilots, so you have one person who's watching the line of sight, keeping an eye on the drone, making sure there's no obstacles in the way, while the other pilot is actually watching the live feed from the camera on the drone, so you could get a feel for what's going to be recorded. And everything that's recorded is also stored down to your phone, at least in the case of this drone, so we can review it later without having to review it in the field, without having to download all the high definition footage from the GoPro.
So, speaking of the GoPro, speaking of live footage, it's a hot day. It's a long day of filming. What do you do after a long, hot day of being out there and filming? Well, with drones,
we get some food.
Get some food.
Yes. So let's. We have a segment here. Let's roll some tape about us and our favorite ice cream place of all places, Rite Aid. All right. So we just got back from meeting up with my buddy Kenny to have him help him out with his RC motorcycle. Did a little bit of drone footage there, but not a whole lot because it was kind of sketchy. Didn't want to get a lot of footage in that area. So anyway, so on the way back we had to stop off in Narren, go to Rite Aid, and couldn't help but get some Thrifty ice cream. Now, Thrifty ice cream has a special memory for me is very dear to my heart, because it was the first ice cream that I remember having from my favorite flavor, mint and chip, or mint chocolate chip. And the special thing about their mint chocolate chip is because they use chocolate shavings rather than chocolate chunks or chocolate chips. It makes for a lot finer chocolate experience. And I'm going to have an old man moment here. I remember when these singles were 15 cents. Yeah, that's my old man moment for the day. Okay, so wow. You expect to see a lot more of those old man moments as the videos progress. What do you think about Thrifty ice cream?
I personally love Thrifty ice cream. It's always that solid ice cream that you're never disappointed with, whatever flavor you get. This time I got butter pecan. Never tried it before from Thrifty. And it's like one of those childhood memory things for me too, because they always used to take me to Rite Aid and get ice cream too. So it's kind of like a nice little. As
my mom used to do, we used to go to the corner Thrifty drugstore back when Rite Aid was called Thrifty, and get a 15-cent scoop of Thrifty ice cream, and now I pass that down to my sons. So
I didn't know Thrifty was a drugstore.
Yeah, before it was Rite Aid, it was Thrifty, and then Rite Aid bought it out. So one of those things.
So, Dad,
Mhm.
I have a question.
Okay.
When you eat ice cream, at least from a cone, which I know you don't do often, but if you do,
Here we go.
do you lick or do you bite? So, like, lick or bite?
I tend to eat my food symmetrically. I know it's one of my weird things. So what I do is I lick around, and then I bite, and then I bite on the other side, and then I lick it around until it's flat again. And there's this weird dance that I do, I guess, with my food, where everything has to be done symmetrically. You've seen me eat a hamburger, and you've witnessed the odd lengths that I'll go to make sure that everybody's even around the burger.
Yep.
You've seen me eat cookies. You've seen me eat brownies. It's just a weird thing I do. I don't know what else to explain about it, but I have to eat my food symmetrically.
See, when it's soft serve, I purely lick. But for ice cream, since it's like, I don't know, more frozen or more solid or whatnot, I do a combination of both.
Okay.
So I mainly bite, but then I also lick every once in a while.
Well, I like my ice cream very solid. I like to be able to chew my ice cream, and I don't like crunchy things in my ice cream, except for one flavor of ice cream they have here at Rite Aid, called Chocolate Malted Crunch, which is just amazing. But for the most part, I like to chew my ice cream, but without having crunches. I don't like nuts in my ice cream. I don't like big chunks of anything in my ice cream. That's why I like the shaved chocolate that they have in Thrifty's Mint and Chip, rather than chocolate chips. Okay, Roman. So you're eating a cake cone. Why do you choose cake cone over waffle cone, or cup for that matter?
I like that the cake cone isn't sweet. Like, it adds texture and it's fun to eat, and it's just kind of less overbearing than a waffle cone is. Also, waffle cones crumble way too easily. Like, if it gets soggy, then it immediately loses its structure.
I totally see where you're coming at about the sweetness. The waffle cone tends to interfere with the flavor of the ice cream, whereas the cake cone is completely neutral and doesn't clash with the flavor of the ice cream at all. So, if I'm going to have a cone, it's going to be a cake cone just like that one.
Agreed. I have, on multiple occasions, bought just a box of cake cones just to eat them. Not the whole box, but like a couple.
What's fun to do? Get a cake cone, fill it with frosting.
Oh my goodness. That just sounds crazy.
Oh.
I once tried making cake cone cupcakes. Did not turn out well.
What happened?
I think the bottoms of the cake cones got burnt.
Oh.
And then they kind of oozed. It was weird.
I can picture that happening.
Yeah.
Not cooking, having the batter not cook evenly within the cake cone.
Yeah. Ooh. I almost dropped it.
Okay. Well, we hope you enjoyed watching us eat ice cream. A little bit more about why food and drones. All of our drone adventures, for some reason, always culminate in ending up eating food somewhere, whether it's a local Euro place or a taco place. And it's kind of a thing with vloggers, with drone vloggers at least. They always end up having margaritas or tacos at the end of it. We like to, like I said, we love to eat and we love to experience new foods. And so, but we also have our favorite places, like our Euro place by the track, which we will definitely be going to soon. So, we saw a couple questions or a couple of comments about there. Chocolate waffle cone, that sounds pretty awesome. Waffle cones, that's definite flavor profile that sounds really good. So we had also a couple questions about the new DJI drone that was just released, the Mavic Air.
Yes, the Mavic Air.
We haven't seen it close up because we didn't make it to CES this year, but we have seen some footage of it and seen some videos of it. What do you think about it?
I think it looks stunning. The video looks so insanely stable for such a small drone. The whole thing is about this size.
Yeah.
Even when it's completely folded out, instead of the massive this size drone that we have, it compacted all the same technology and even a better camera into this size.
Yeah, I was impressed with one of my friends has the Mavic Pro, and we used it recently the past couple months at a shoot during a race, and I was very impressed by the stability of that drone. And that's and it's it's pretty hefty. It's got some aluminum parts, so it has some heft and some weight to it, but it's still very small. And in the air, and even 20, 25 mile an hour winds, it is rock solid and takes great video. Now this thing, the Mavic Air, is even smaller, and from what we saw, it was pretty windy where this guy was filming, and it still looked really, really good. So we're very impressed by it. The price point seems to be pretty good. I think about $799.
Oh wow!
So a little bit, so about $200 to $300 less than a Mavic Pro setup.
And it looks gorgeous.
Yeah,
I mean the body looks completely solid. It looks like very sleek, and it's completely portable.
One thing I noticed though is that instead of using RF or radio frequencies for control, it uses Wi-Fi. Well, instead of using standard radio frequencies, it uses Wi-Fi, much like our 3DR Solo does. So I don't think the range is going to be quite as good as the other DJI offerings, like the Mavic Pro, and the Phantom series, or the Inspire, going up in the line. But no doubt that DJI makes a great product, and I'm sure it'll do very well. Plus, the thing is so tiny, you don't want to have it, outside of line of sight will be a lot closer than it would be for one of the larger drones anyway. So, okay, I think that is it. What do we do? We have places on social media to follow.
Yep, you can follow Food and Drones on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and I believe Anchor too.
Facebook also, I think?
Facebook. No, Facebook.
No, okay. Well, that's just right. We're on Bummer Media on Facebook. So, well, thank you for watching. Look forward to more content from us, some more odd adventures. We're going to do things like we will be cooking. We will be doing exotic drinks that we come across, exotic foods we come across, our favorite restaurants, our favorite eating haunts, and some new ones that we come across.
And we will be flying. Definitely, we'll be flying on our favorite airspace. In some new places, and maybe even some houses.
So yes, all right. Thank you very much. Just hope you enjoyed it, and hope you enjoyed Food and Drones on the plate and in the air.
Food and Drones are everywhere.
Thanks all.